first meeting, Mr. President?
Well, yeah, it's this round.
All right.
All right, Commissioner Kirchner, start it when you're ready.
Okay, we will call this meeting of Senate County Commissioners for July 2nd, Thursday. To order, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the
flag
flag
of the United States
of America,
to the republic
for which it stands, one
one
nation.
nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thomas, do you have a prayer for us this morning?
I do. In the spirit of Independence Day, Lord, in whose name the founders of this country won liberty for themselves and for all of us, and lit a torch of freedom for nations around the world. Grant that we and all the people of the land may have the grace to maintain our liberties through peace. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. It's very good. Okay, Nikki, roll call.
Commissioner Kirchner,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
Okay, so I will accept a motion to approve the digital audio video recording of the previous board session from June the 18th. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Paradiso, roll call, please, Nikki.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirchner.
Yes. Okay, so we have a 10:15 bid opening and we'll kind of break in between when that time comes. The first item on the agenda is County Administrator's Report. Stacy, what you got for us?
Sure. Just a quick month end. Our month-to-date revenue for June was $1,149,745. Our expenses were $969,300.89. I did want to let you know I'm going to be working with Julie. We need to get a budget put in place for the Corona Relief Fund. From what we understand, that all expenses going forward will have to come out of that fund and not reimburse the different funds. That they're saying that because it's a special fund, you cannot transfer out. So we're still working through that. So we do need to get a budget set up next week, and I'll get that to you before the meeting. So just wanted to.
I'm clear on this. Anything that is COVID related from this point forward needs to come out of the money that was sent to us from the CARES Act.
Correct.
Okay. And what documentation do we need for that, Stacey?
We're still working on that.
Still working on that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And all right, go ahead. Do you have more?
Nope. That's all I had.
Okay. So in a related matter, just to keep everybody current, 2 weeks from today, we will be having a work session that will try to gather as many of the electeds as possible, as many department heads as possible, to talk about the money that we receive from the CARES Act and how we can accumulate our expenses. We've got in the range of $2 million. The county specifically has about $850.
930.
930, okay. And at this point in time, we have somewhere about 450 in payroll and somewhere south of 100 in specifically COVID-related expenses.
Yep.
Fair, okay.
Yes.
Further, the money needs to be spent and documented by the end of October. So we need to get folks in here to document exactly what their costs have been. We are hoping that there will be some legislation, some adjustment to the rest of what we have coming that will allow for reimbursement of operating income. We don't know if that'll happen, but we're hoping for that to happen. Okay, so hopefully we are on top of it by having the discussion 2 weeks from today. The central point will be the commissioner's office to come up with a total so that we know how close we are to the $2 million that we have been allotted. All right. Anything else, Stace? You good?
Nope, not today.
Commissioners
Stacy,
report.
will we be in a position to transfer some of the money to the general fund fairly soon? I was just kind of watching our cash position, and that could be bolstered, in my opinion.
And we're working on that because the directive I'm getting from OBM is that because it's a special fund, funds cannot be transferred out. So they're recommending doing some accounting shifts to negative to the general fund. So there's some things that Julie and I got to get worked out how we're going to be able to do that, because they're insinuating because it's a special fund, we can't transfer money out of it to get all of the departments refunded. So it's just a snag and we'll get around it.
All right. Yeah, I guess I would like to hear from you at some point what cash position you think is appropriate. We have the budget stabilization fund. If we need to move cash to increase your comfort, then we should contemplate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we, and Shane, and I know the answer to this, but your comments are on top of the fact that we moved the Medicaid money over already, which was north of 800,000. Right? So you're also suggesting that that's eroded or in the process of eroding away as we planned or anticipated. And so I just want to make a comment that, all the money we have left, unless I'm missing something, that is discretionary money, is the $600,000 rainy day fund, if you will. Is that an accurate statement, Stacy?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, Stacy, now we talked about not being able to reimburse the operating account with the COVID money. There was a concern about being able to do that for expenses that we've had for COVID. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. So the 850,000 we transfer on Medicaid, that was out of another fund. That really wasn't operating money, right?
The 850 we moved over because we were short on cash. So
Okay.
it's being used in our allotment for operating expenses.
Right. But in theory, that 850 was a reserve amount.
Right.
So could we move the money from COVID rather than into operating to reimburse that reserve amount?
I still think they're hung up on the coronavirus relief fund being a special revenue fund, not allowing things to be transferred out of that fund. So we're still looking into it. We're still trying to get clarification how we can make that work. The intent of this obviously was to get coronavirus expenses paid. Problem is that they didn't give us the funding until last week. There was no way we could have had this fund set up and cash flow.
Okay, that's why I'm saying that if we could show that it came out of a reserve fund as opposed to operating funds, that may be, I know it's just semantics, but it may be a way to get that reimbursed. And then additionally, I know that judges use some of their special account to pay for some COVID related expenses. Were there any other funds used across the county that you're aware of other than operating funds to cover costs? Like with EMS, did they take any money out of any special accounts?
Just their funds. Each department, any of the salaries that they would have paid for that were COVID, they were all coded underneath their individual funds. The health department, regional planning. I know the auditor used some out of a real estate assessment fund. So we've all had, each of them have had expenses so far. So.
Okay, very good. I'm just concerned about the fact that if they're saying you can't reimburse general operating, we may be able to manipulate it so that it really didn't come out of general operating. It came out of specific funds that were either reserve funds or judges funds or EMS funds for other purposes.
Right.
Okay, understand. All right, Commissioner Thomas, do you have a report for us?
Yeah, a couple things. Had downtown development meeting this morning. That's going well. They've got some interesting events planned and holding the date of September 30th for the downtown celebration, looking at options for that would be socially distancing compliant. So, every year we have a great downtown celebration, and this year we hope to have it not be any different. I did want to give a shout out to Seneca Proud. They had a great month of events in Tiffin and Seneca County, and found ways to, again, socially distance and be in compliance there with the Pride Caravan and, the die-in last weekend. So happy to live in a community where we have a robust conversation about that. And the last thing is, it's my understanding that the majority of the Board of Commissioners has birthdays this week. So shout out, happy birthday to my fellow commissioners. They, I think you're both considered boomers. I'm not sure, but happy birthday.
7th and the 8th.
Yeah.
Combined
Tony
age of 190.
Tony may be a past boomer. I'm not sure. He might have been out of that.
No, I'm absolutely a boomer. We're born buddy.
In 13 years and 9 months, we're going to have some quarantines around too.
That's all I had, Mike. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Anthony?
Two things. I want to shout out to Foster Economic Development. Renee Smith's on the call. We both talked this morning, not realizing that she didn't realize and I didn't realize that she was a guest on the agenda. So we'll be speaking with her a little bit later. But a couple positive things happening in the Fostoria area. Project Wheat, we'll leave it at that. It's a $9.5 million project. Foster Economic Development Corp has been working on that. That is moving forward. And so she wanted us to be aware of that. And St. Wendland School has been leased out to Aim High International. Aim High International, it's kind of a sports, it's a school that takes kids and they work to get their ACT, SAT scores up. They offer different camps. So I think that's a neat addition to Fostoria to take St. Wendland and rent that out. Secondly, I talked to Bryce Riggs yesterday, his first day on the job as the director of the chamber in Destination Seneca County. We talked about quarterly reports to the commissioners. He and I agreed to defer the July report back to us to give him more time to get his arms around everything. He's very excited. Met with his staff yesterday. He's making his rounds, and he just him and I will keep communicating. And at some point, he'll come in and present to the Board of Commissioners. But he took office yesterday and is pretty excited about it. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think it's a good time to do our bid opening, Stacy. It is indeed 10:15.
Okay.
So you,
Let me check
pavement,
if I have any more.
okay.
Those are the only 3 I got. Bids. Okay, so I have 3. This is for the Seneca County Road 592 pavement widening resurfacing project. The engineer's estimate on this project is $405,419, 405,419.00. The first bid I have is Helms and Sons Excavating out of Findlay, Ohio. And their total bid amount was $447,460.50, 447,460.50. Next one I have is Gherkin Paving Incorporated out of Napoleon, Ohio. Their total bid amount, $384,955.40, 384,955.40. The last bid I have is M&B Asphalt out of Tiffin, Ohio. Their total bid amount, $382,835.25, 382,835.25. And those are all I have.
One thing we should mention is that, through the pandemic and the reduction in driving, gas tax money is going to go down for all entities across the state, even though the gas tax rate went up. So we're very fortunate that our engineer has been frugal over the years and has money set aside, because he'll be able to continue, a fairly robust paving program where I think we'll see a lot of other counties and municipalities cutting back because their sales tax money isn't going to be there. So, kudos to Engineer Zimmerman for preparing for this rainy day.
Yeah, that's a great point. Stacy, what do we need to do in lieu of signatures for folks when we open those bids? Is there some type of documentation that we keep to show how many people in the public were at the meeting, or do we list?
We'll record that on the video screen. I can see all the names of the individuals. Now there are some that I just see phone numbers for that I'll have to see if I can get their information. But that's how we're keeping track is.
Okay, and that's permissible. We've checked that. We're okay with that.
Yeah.
Very good.
We turn this over to the engineer and he takes it from here, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Any old business?
You have a commissioner report?
I do not. I just wishing everybody a great 4th of July here, and we've been busy in the office and talking about a lot of things that really aren't for just discussion topics at this point. That we're working hard on the COVID. Stacy and staff are working hard on formulas to make sure that we're able to receive that money, and there'll be a lot of discussion amongst the political subdivisions and electeds about how we're going to receive it. So most of the time has been spent having those discussions and really fiscal discussions. We're trying to find where we might have some excess money. We're tightening the belt to to the next loop if we can. It's kind of getting a little bit snug. So we need to keep looking, and we do that every day. So new business, Stacy. Oh, it looks like Tyler Shuck would like his screen on. Can you do that, Jimmy?
Yep. He just needs to start the video on the app. It should work.
Oh.
There should be. There he is.
Okay. So new business, Stacy.
Sure. I have a couple. I have a supplemental appropriation for equipment for the Workforce Investment Act Fund, which is Job and Families Fund, equipment for $22,000. This is additional funds for the OMJ Center upgrade. I have a supplemental appropriation for the Workforce Investment Fund for shared cost, WIA shared cost, $100,000. This is additional appropriations needed for shared cost transfer to the Public Assistance Fund. And then I have resolution authorizing the support of the adoption of the Roth 457 option as expanded profile choice within the Ohio Deferred Compensation Program, as was authorized into law by the passage of Senate Bill 220, which became Ohio law March 19th, 2017. The auditor's office had gotten a request and has enough slots in our payroll to allow for payroll deduction for this. So we had done a resolution for the CCAO program, and so they've asked us to do this one for the Ohio Deferred Compensation Program to allow employees to be able to do this. And then I have a resolution supporting a rural industrial park loan program application for economic development benefits. And Renee is on here to help explain that. I tried to get it on the agenda for today. So.
Well, first of all, thank you, Stacy, for getting it on the agenda, and good morning to everyone. I don't know how familiar you all are with the Rural Industrial Park Loan Program. It's an old program that the Developmental Services Agency has brought back, and it was created to promote economic development in specific eligible rural counties. These are direct low-interest loans, and they're to be used for the development and improvement of industrial parks and for public infrastructure improvements. And so we are actually working with the Montrose Group out of Columbus to put together an application to submit. We still have some property on 23 Corporate Place, and we want to do a project out there in the future. And so part of the loan process is a resolution from the county commissioners saying that basically you're aware that we're applying for the funding, that we are an eligible entity to apply. And so that is kind of the crux of the resolution before you today.
Very good.
Is there a time frame, Renee, once that you have to use the money or make application? Does this expire?
Our goal is to have our application in within the next 45 days. And then we actually put kind of a timeline together with the loan for the project that we're discussing doing. So we'll put our own timeline together for spending the money and so forth.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Stacy, can we include that resolution with the rest of the new business?
Yes. Yep. I read it with the rest of them.
Okay. So I will accept a motion to approve the supplemental appropriations, Rural Industrial Park Loan Program, and adoption of Roth 457 option.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Nikki, roll call.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Yes. The two last things I have on my mind here are we're going to have a discussion about the airport after this meeting. Is that right, or during the course of this meeting?
After.
Afterwards, okay. And the strategic plan for building and infrastructure, when is that going to be presented back to the, have we actually approved that from Gossman, or what's the next step there?
No, that would be the next step, if to give you time to review what he's went over at the last meeting. And I think Charlene had asked us to do a resolution accepting, maybe not necessarily approving, but accepting the plan. So.
Okay, so we need next week to have enough time to go over it and take some action. I don't know if we need to accept it, but we'll take some action.
Okay.
Yeah, Stacy, I've had a hard time receiving that final document. I don't know if the other two commissioners have it or not. It was sent not through Dropbox, but through some Microsoft remote.
I can get it for you.
Yeah, so I need to get that.
Yep, I got it. I'll get it for you.
That I can get, because it's not at the normal place it would be.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, I'll get it to you.
I'd like to see the final. And did you receive the final, Mike? Do you have a copy?
I other than us going through it page by page,
Just,
you know, the discussion we had, I have not been able to print it off. No.
yeah, I haven't either. So okay.
I tried.
I'm not even going to ask Shane, because he's the technology whiz of the group, and I'm sure
Yeah, I've got it.
I knew you had it. So the two guys that have July birthdays, we need a little help. Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to bring up, just for the good of the order, is I had a question about when the museum was going to reopen. And I just wanted to remind everybody that that closure is budgetary and not COVID related. So that's, it's a little bit of confusion there. I mean, obviously they're linked because our revenue was declined because of the pandemic, but it's not an issue of social distancing. It's a budgetary issue at this point. So I just wanted to remind people of that.
That's a good distinction, Shane. I appreciate you bringing that up. Yes. Okay, public comment. Jimmy, I don't know, what do you have out there?
Hey, Mike. So I haven't seen anything in the chat, but we have it set up now so people can unmute themselves if they want to speak. So if you want to unmute yourself, you can go ahead and speak up if you have a public comment.
Yes, Tyler.
Yeah, just thought I'd give a quick little report here from the city, if that's okay.
Sure.
As many of you have seen, the DORA has passed from council on a unanimous 7-0 vote. I believe that takes effect here starting today from what I was told here. Some of the things I've seen online. As far as the DORA goes, this only goes till December. It's nothing set in stone, so we can always revisit it, tweak it at any time that we want, but it's more of a trial period. This is something that the businesses had asked of us to try due to their spacing within the restaurants and the facilities. They're at limited capacity, so people can sit outside and still dine and do that sort of thing. It's meant to help the businesses, but it is on a trial period. Expires here at the end of the year, so hopefully people don't abuse it and can be mature with it. We've got some new businesses coming in here over the next few weeks. We'll get that information out to TSEP and those folks to kind of let them do the press releases, but there's some new businesses coming to Tiffin and Seneca County here. So excited about that. Even during these tough times, there's some people wanting to invest in the community and the county, and still some entrepreneurs out there looking to do some good things. So excited about that. The Ellis Street Bridge, that will be closed here for roughly about 90 days. We're close to halfway through that period. So I know it's caused some traffic issues or people having to go around, but that's for 90 days as far as those repairs go on Ellis Street.
Tyler, let me stop you there. Tyler?
Yeah.
Ellis Street, is the small bridges being repaired now?
Yes, the small bridge is only being repaired at the moment.
When is the larger bridge going to close it down again?
I would have liked to seen both of them done at the same time. That one's slated for next year, but to my understanding, from what I was told, it was hard to do both of them at the exact same time because essentially somebody would get marooned out there in the middle section, or I guess it was just some logistical type issues that they couldn't do both at the same time. But I would have liked to have seen that done as well, but it's slated for next year from my understanding.
So how long is there an estimate as to how long Ellis Street will be shut down next year then? Well,
I don't know those estimates for sure. I don't know if that's going to be another 90-day one or not, but I don't want to misspeak or give misinformation. I do not know, to be honest with you. That would be a Matt Watson question, I believe.
Thanks.
Also, just some news here from the Small Business Task Force. So the mayor, the administration, I know some different local officials and leaders came together to form a small business task force. There's been some really neat things to come out of that, like the picnic tables and stuff downtown. And we appreciate you guys working with the city on that to provide additional seating for the different restaurants and bars downtown. Out of that also, I have created some legislation or proposed some legislation here to the city to reduce sewer rates for anyone that gets a city sewer bill. So essentially, I was sitting there trying to figure out, we're looking at what can we do, what can we control. One utility that the city can help with is the sewer rates. So currently there's some legislation on our city docket right now to slash city sewer rates by 10% here for potentially the next 2 years. Hopefully that will help some of the small businesses. This will actually go for the citizens as well, for the city of Tiffin and anyone that gets a city sewer bill. So we're trying to help these people through COVID. I know it's not a huge, gigantic chunk of money, but every little bit helps. So I'm hoping my colleagues here on council will allow that to go through and try to save some of our residents on their sewer bills. At that point too, I also contacted the Aqua and Rumpke to see if we could get like a package deal, if they would cut maybe some of the water bill rates or give businesses a break on their trash bills, but didn't have much success over there, but never hurts to ask. So we did try to create a package, but the city will be potentially reducing sewer bills for our citizens. Then last but not least, just wanted to congratulate Bryce Riggs on his new role at the chamber. I think he's going to do a fantastic job, and happy retirement to John Detweiler.
Thank you, Tyler. I think we have Miss Audrey ready to speak.
Yep. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So I wanted to let everyone know that next Wednesday, July 8th, is our next local business forum that we were hosting weekly during kind of the thick of the pandemic crisis. And now we've gone to a monthly forum that we want to keep having. We will have, as usual, Health Commissioner Beth Schweitzer, Lou Cook from the state, as well as potentially a few other guests. And we're also going to have a specific guest from the state giving a little bit of information about how businesses can find success doing kind of procurement with different government entities and that kind of thing. So she has some resources that she's going to share with our local businesses. And then as always, it's just a forum for businesses to, ask questions and find more information. And this is something that TSEP hosts in partnership with the chamber here in Tiffin, as well as the Fostoria Chamber. So again, that's next week, July 8th at 10 a.m. And information about that can be found on Facebook and website and all of those things. Other than that, there are still some different state and federal programs that are open to businesses. If you know of any businesses that need help, please make sure they're reaching out. I don't think we have any other updates. Oh, I did want to correct. The DORA does not go into effect today, as Tyler said. We are still waiting on the state license approvals for those specific businesses downtown that will be participating. So as soon as we get those approvals from the state, that's when that will open, and you all can reach out to Amy Reinhardt for any extra information on that. But I did want to just clarify that does not go live today until we get those approvals, but it should be very soon. Okay, I don't think I have any other updates. Are there any questions for TSEP today?
Hey, Audrey, can you get me the maps for the opportunity zones?
Sure, yeah, we can definitely give you that information.
I would like that as well, Shane.
Yeah, I had an inquiry, somebody who wants to do an investment and they want to do it in an opportunity zone. And I've seen the maps, but I don't have them at my fingertips. So if you have those at your fingertips, if you could just email them to me, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll have David get in touch with you about that. He and Nick will be working on those type of projects, and yep, we have that information, so we can get that over to Shane. And who else is the one that said they wanted that?
Tony.
Tony. Okay. Yep, I can definitely get that over to you. Any other questions?
Audrey, this is not a criticism, but maybe we learn from what we do. As far as the door is concerned, as you know, the county is in full support of everybody's efforts to do that. But possibly we could have been involved a little earlier with the language because we do own so much property downtown that my suggestion might be that if there is something that affects a lot of property that the county owns, that they have a heads up about what that legislation is going to be or what the application is going to look like. There was some criticism on Tiffin City Council about us coming in lately, too late with the our concern on the courthouse, and that we should have recognized that when the application was filed. Well, we weren't aware of the application or when it went in. So again, this is not criticism. It's just we learned by by what we've done in the past. So if there's anything the economic development has that's an application that would affect county property, maybe we could have some input in the beginning as opposed to having to react.
Absolutely. Yep. We appreciate that feedback. I will pass it along directly to Amy and the committee that worked on that. And I can have her reach out if you guys want to talk more about that too, because as you know, there will be more discussion about the door come the end of the year. So we absolutely appreciate that feedback. I agree, and I'll get that to the right people.
Okay, it looks like Mr. Riggs has got a technology guy behind him.
I do. So it's day 2, so we're still working through all the kinks and getting everyone on the same page, which is good. Just want to reach out and kind of reiterate what Tony said. Brittany and I have met a few times already to talk about the plan forward. I know there were some questions about budgets and other things like that, and then also with some of our stakeholders. So I've reached out to some other tourism stakeholders throughout the state of Ohio that have chambers that are combined to get some of their input on it. So I'm starting those discussions as of this morning. I've reached out to the Ritz. I've reached out to Jody Reinbolt, as well as a few other stakeholders. So we're all getting together, really working on understanding a little more about tourism for Seneca County, and then also with Fostoria and Sandusky County. So trying to work on partnerships. So we're working on our plan. I'm learning a lot in the last 2 days and really looking forward to hitting the ground running and making things happen. So would appreciate the support of the commissioners as we move forward, and looking forward to working together.
Super. Congratulations. Welcome aboard, young man.
Thanks, Mike.
They're all young men to you, Mike.
Yeah, don't be a smart aleck, Tony.
You too, Tony.
Right behind you. Yeah.
Commissioner Kirschner, can we bring in Mike Ditto for a minute? I've got one thing for him.
Mr. Ditto, knock, knock, you out there somewhere.
Yes, sir.
I knew it.
Good morning. How is everyone today?
Morning.
All right.
Good.
Got
good.
my kids running around, so I'll just be on audio.
We're kid friendly.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Mike Ditto, I have one thing for you.
Yes, sir.
The governor recently released a program for EV chargers across the state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, rightfully prioritizing interstate corridors. My concern is, we don't have an interstate, and it exasperates, our long-term transportation issue if we don't participate in the EV charging environment.
Sure.
So I will forward you the governor's recent release. And I think we need to work with Rep. Reineke and Senator Burke and Reardon McLean to put a little bit of pressure on ODOT and the governor's office to make some of those resources available for our rural communities. Regional planning has submitted an application to AEP. They've got some grant opportunities, but we're in the queue. But
Sure.
As maps are released on EV charging stations, we absolutely want Tiffin, Fostoria, Seneca County to be on those maps.
Of course.
Reineke Ford has done a nice job of putting in an EV charging station, and I'm grateful for private enterprise doing that. Jake Shaw from Buckeye IT has a program he's working on. but to the extent that state resources are being made available to communities, we want at least to have a shot at that.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, and I will do some digging into that and make some phone calls for you to certainly get some more information. But I'm looking at some information here, and it looks like this is a big initiative from Drive Ohio and the good folks over there who are doing all the smart mobility initiatives through the Department of Transportation. So I will check into that and see what feasibility is there. But I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with them prioritizing high density places and high transportation corridors. My solution is, at least make a grant pool available for the rest of Ohio. And, that's where, self-advocacy comes into play. I don't mind competing for a pool against other communities, but the pool's got to be there.
Right. Okay.
I think, Mike,
yes, sir.
Mike Kirshner, we do have on the planning board, and I think approved, Audrey may be able to verify this, a large new gas station that's coming in the high traffic area of Tiffin, Ohio, ready to be built or close to being built. It would seem to me that, you got to shoot the ducks that are flying, right? And this would be a new construction and good timing to put a charging station in that area while they're doing the construction process.
Right. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Audrey, is it Speedway or Circle K or?
One moment, we should have Nick hopping on his camera here in 1 second. He'll be able to answer that question for you specifically. I cannot.
Okay.
1 second, he's getting on. He is the man with the info on that project. There he comes.
Nick Dutro, you with us yet?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. So the service station that's coming to Tiffin is which one?
This is a Circle K, so they are coming to, or they will be building a new station here in front of the Rural King, in the land that's in front of Rural King there. So they already have a few stations in town. They'll be moving their one from West Market Street further toward US 224 and 18.
The topic, Nick, was that there are some charging stations and possibly some grant money available for some electric charging stations. And we thought the timing might be good to lobby Circle K to, while they're in the construction process, to see whether or not we couldn't get a charging station in that specific station.
I'd be happy to open up some conversations with them. So let me make some contacts with them today and see if we can open up that dialogue.
Okay, very good. Mike Ditto will get you his information, but he would be the one to kind of coordinate what's
Absolutely.
pending.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I will make some calls over to Drive Ohio. This is also a partnership with certainly ODOT, which Drive Ohio is a part of, and the EPA. So I'll do some digging on this for you, and more to come.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else with comments today? Okay, it is 11 or 10:45. I will call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.